Dames, I'm back with my agenda. Never follow rules, I want my funeral magenta. Just to piss off all my fucking homophobic relatives. Growing more imperative that I control my narratives. So I spit fire through this pop filter. La la, you got to have the Zaza for me to shop with you. Raising my rates and I'll control fates. But if you fuck with me, I bring your fucking life to a stop quicker. I'm in your throat like some hot liquor. Roll through your hood like a drop shipper. Hands like a stock filter. I think if I was straight, then maybe I would pop quicker. Playing the lotto, I'm on the reposado. Can't be in my vicinity if you possessing maybes. Or fragile masculinity like Boosie tip a baby. It's crazy cause the very clothes you wearing was designed by the same group of people used to trying to keep behind. You ain't worried about the kids, you just use them as a shield to hide behind the bigotry of how you really feel. Ain't no think pieces and emails as long as it's some females that's kissing in the backseat. And you can check my rap sheet. I'm running circles while you watch the rappers like a track meet. Been flexing like an athlete. I'm jigging to the backbeat. Work selling in the trap meet. And my niggas back heat. Suggest to keep it cool before they bust and make it happy. And I ain't even really scratched the surface. Defeat the self-doubt, don't defeat the purpose. Make sure you got it or you won't complete the purchase. A man without a plan is like a clown without a circus. That's Dames, he go crazy on the mics and shit. Rolling blunts super straight on the pipes and shit. Fat ass with the fucking tiger stripes and shit. I get faded, grab my pen and then I write some shit about this crazy world we living in. My homies there to giving in, the doors there to kicking in. I never care about fitting in. No whipping the E-class, that motherfucker speed fast. I caught me a peach pass and reach for my weed stash. All sports teams, but I'm ballin', nigga. Better have a money move if you callin', nigga. It's my time to shine and you know I'm stallin', nigga. Dames going up, make that shit appallin', nigga. And I ain't even really in my prime yet. But I just been grinding like the time said. Mindset, I'm the fucking money, not a bitch though. I can tell you broke, but I ain't never been a snitch though. Came up on cassettes and CDs on the block. I don't smoke no cigarettes, but the trees stay in stock. It's the D-A-M to the I-E-N. And if I stand out, nigga, why be in? This motherfuck the cops and motherfuck the ops. My niggas got good credit, we talking trades and stocks. I'ma always keep it real, that's what I get from my pops. They'll give me a fucking bullet before they give me my props. I got this war in my mind, I don't know who winning. All this Patron in my body and my head keeps spinning. Yo, how I'ma get to heaven? I mean, if I keep sinning, that's where life would drive you crazy, man. Just keep living. I ain't even really scratched the surface. Defeat the self-doubt, don't defeat the purpose. Make sure you got it or you won't complete the purchase. A man without a plan is like a clown without a circus. Dames, and I ain't even really scratched the surface. No, defeat the self-doubt, don't defeat the purpose. Make sure you got it or you won't complete the purchase. A man without a plan is just a clown without a circus. Dames. Hip-hop. This rap shit. Just in
I took a hit for the team, took a bullet for the dream that we would one day all be free from prejudice, free from sexism, free from bigotry. I die for creativity, I die for freedom to be free. I got it as a legacy. Oh, but baby, I still live through technology. The sun will start shining. What is the
What's going on, y'all? Hold on 1 second. Let me just check and make sure that the audio is good. Give me 1 second. Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Yes, we're good. I wanted to be sure. Okay. Yes, girl. It's gonna be. It's definitely gonna be one of those lives. It's definitely gonna be one of those lives, and I don't get any joy from doing these lives. I really don't. I'm an individual that believes in peace and love and understanding. I believe that proper communication, along with mental, emotional, and spiritual awareness, I believe those are the tools to manifest the greatest life we can ever, I guess, all of us collectively experience. So when I get up here and I speak about these things, it's easier for people to look at me as, oh, you're just a queer black person who's just mad and upset and yelling and being angry. But then when we provide the reasons why, which we all know that deep down, past all of the masks that a lot of y'all wear and the ideologies that y'all fucking hide behind, and yes, it's going to be one of those lives that deep down inside, you know for a fact how horrible these laws and these viewpoints are in reference to humanity. And here's my thing. If you want to stand firm in what the hell is being done to humanity, I want you to also stand firm in that shit when whatever you're supporting that destroys humanity turns around and gets your ass too, because you know it's going to. And if you are willing to stand 10 toes the fuck down in complete agency, even with karma, even with consequences, then I have no choice but to at least respect that. Now, if you've been following me for a while, about a year or so ago, we started doing commentary in reference to Uganda, okay, that has been working on a bill since fucking 2012, if I'm not mistaken, anywhere from 2012 to 2015. That has been which has been named one of the most deadliest things I've ever heard in my life in reference to the kill the gays bill. Just flat out kill the gays, kill them. Kill them. And how that bill was enacted and manifested into the life of Uganda. And how it's literally erasing queer existence. And when I mean existence, it means what's happening now, destroy the history, or better yet, rewrite the history and say, if you do this, this is what is going to happen to you. And then get to control the narrative going forward. Meanwhile, in the midnight hour, when y'all dicks be getting hard and y'all coochies be twitching and all type of popping and talking and shit, you be doing the fag shit in the dark. So what I'm starting to understand, because logically it makes no fucking sense. So spiritually, what I'm starting to see is that your supply of midnight dick and pussy is getting low, because some of the people that was in the closet that you continue to fuck with and then fuck, that number is slowly but surely getting smaller, because people are starting to walk in their truth, which means that pretty soon you might have to start walking in your truth. But you see how reality has been informed or indoctrinated, shall I say, and misinformed, which is a proper context. Okay, girl, let me stop. Yes, this is definitely going to be one of those lives. I'm going to be cursing all up and through this. Granddad, if you're listening to this, please turn it off. Thank you very much. Okay? Because the grandson, first of all, is grown. Okay? And second of all, this is real life stuff that can happen to your grandson, because the stuff that is happening over in African countries is starting this onslaught of brutality against its own people. And the people who are influencing this is from a spiritual belief system that's not even from Africa. And I know that one of our bald-headed brothers in Christ, okay, Mr. Lance Scurv, is over there happy as hell because I believe he lives in Ghana, and now Ghana is following suit. Okay? So we have Uganda, and after Uganda, now Ghana is following suit. And we've heard other queer activists in Uganda literally open up their mouths and prophesied and say that all of the African countries are keeping their eyes on Uganda, because whatever Uganda does, they're going to follow suit. And now we're here with Ghana. Now, before we get into the two news articles, because I ain't going to be here that long, because I'm going to get it all out. I'm not finna censor myself. That's why I be taking so long, because I be trying to think of what to say. Once I get to a certain point in this commentary, I'm going to let it all out, and it's going to be what the fuck it's going to be. Y'all make use or sense of whatever the fuck I said. But before we get into that, okay? 1 second. Boom. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. Now, I have the two news articles below. We're going to read one from ABC News, and then the other one is from The Guardian. We're going to get the objective perspective, and then we're going to get the queer perspective. Okay? Let me go ahead and take a sip of water real quick. 1 second. Sorry about that. I had to check the audio one more time to make sure that we was good, okay? Now, again, you can read along with me. The links are in the description box below. The first one is from ABC News, and the headline reads, Ghana's parliament passes controversial new anti-LGBTQ bill. The bill, which awaits being signed into law, is one of the harshest in Africa, and yes, one of. Because at least in this bill, it's criminalization. But in Uganda's bill, the extreme is death. Ghana's parliament has passed a controversial new anti-LGBTQ bill following months of debate that could make it illegal to identify as a citizen of the LGBTQ in the West African nation. The bill, named the Human Sexual Rights and Family Values Bill, wow, was passed by the national legislature on Wednesday in a unanimous vote by lawmakers. The proposed law, which was sent to ABC News, states that it aims to provide for proper human sexual rights and Ghanaian family values. It now awaits being signed into law by Ghana's president, Nana Akufo-Addo. The bill is one of the harshest of its kind in Africa, and if signed into law, it could see people who identify as gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgender, pansexual, non-binary, queer, or any other sexual or gender identity that is contrary to the binary categories of male and female, sentenced to up to 3 years in prison. Those found guilty of the promotion, sponsorship, or support of LGBTQ plus activities could face a prison sentence to up to 5 years in prison. Gay sexual acts are already illegal in the West African nation, and being convicted of the crimes carries a prison sentence of up to 3 years. United National High Commissioner for Human Rights Volker Turk, has condemned the passage of the bill, calling for it not to become law. Quote, the bill broadens the scope of criminal sanctions against lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, transsexual, and queer people, simply for being who they are, end quote, said Turk in response to the bill proposed. Quote, I call for the bill not to become law. I urge the Ghanaian government to take steps to ensure everyone can live free from violence, stigma, and discrimination regardless of their sexual orientation or gender identity. Consensual same-sex conduct should never be criminalized. End quote. The Human Sexual Rights and Family Values Bill was introduced to Parliament in 2021 following a wave of anti-LGBTQ sentiments after the opening of Ghana's first LGBTQ+ community center. We did not expect such an uproar, Alex Kofi Donker, director of LGBTQ+ Rights Ghana, which hosted an opening event in Ghana's capital city of Accra, told Reuters in 2021, if I fucked that up. Quote, we expected some homophobic organizations would use the opportunity to exploit the situation and stoke tension against the community. But the anti-gay hateful reaction has been unprecedented, end quote, Donker said. A total of 31 of Africa's 54 countries criminalize homosexuality, and the passage of Ghana's bill follows Uganda's passage of the Uganda Anti-Homosexuality Bill in 2023. The United States has said it is deeply troubled by the passage of the bill, saying it poses a threat to Ghanaians' constitutionally protected freedoms of speech, press, and assembly. Quote, Ghana's tradition of tolerance, peace, and respect for human rights is a source of stability and prosperity that has long served as a model for countries around the globe. This legislation is inconsistent with these values and will, if it becomes law, undermine the laudable tradition, end quote, the U.S. State Department said. And again, this is from ABC News, which you can read for yourself in the link below. Now we're going to move to The Guardian. Okay, let me take another sip of water. Give me one moment. All right, excuse me. This is from The Guardian, all right? Caption reads, or title, shall I say, reads, headline, Ghana intensifies crackdown on rights of LGBTQ people and activists. So again, ABC News was the objective viewpoint. This is now us, the individuals who are queer, experiencing the literal erasure of our experiences. An experience that is rich in culture and in knowledge that we try to share, that is literally thrown to the wayside so that the continued subscription to fear fills in the blanks for them, and then these bills come into play, which again, we as queer people unfortunately have to suffer. And I am starting to say also has options to not suffer as well, and we'll get to that after the article. New legislation threatens prison sentences of up to 5 years for willful promotion, sponsorship, or support of LGBTQ+ activities. Ghana's parliament has passed legislation that intensifies a crackdown on the rights of LGBTQ people and those promoting lesbian, gay, or other non-conventional sexual or gender identities in the West African country. The new legislation passed on Wednesday imposes a prison sentence of up to 5 years for the willful promotion, sponsorship, or support of LGBTQ plus activities. The bill still has to be validated by the president before becoming law, which observers believe is unlikely before a general election in December, and we're keeping our fingers crossed on that. Activist groups have called the Human Sexual Rights and Family Values Bill a setback for human rights, actual human rights, and urged President Nana Akufo-Addo government to reject it. But the legislation is widely supported in Ghana, where Akufo-Addo has said gay marriage will never be allowed while he is in power. Commonly referred to as the anti-gay bill, the sweeping legislation received a sponsorship from a coalition comprising of Christian, Muslim, and Ghanaian traditional leaders and passed through an unopposed voice vote. While discrimination against LGBTQ people is common, no one has ever been persecuted under the colonial era law, or at least be able to kill queer people by it being sanctioned by the government, as we see queer people unfortunately have had their lives taken from them. Okay, we're going to get into that again after the bill. Under the provisions of the bill, same-sex relations could be punished with imprisonment ranging from 6 months to 3 years. Those advocating for LGBTQ rights could be subject to harsher penalties with potential jail terms of 3 to 5 years. UN Rights Chief Volker Turk condemned the passing bill. Again, quote, "I call for the bill not to become law. Consensual same-sex conduct should never be criminalized," end quote. He warned that such measures can expose people to hate crime and urged the government to, quote, "ensure everyone can live free from violence, stigma, and discrimination regardless of their sexual orientation or gender identity," end quote. A human rights coalition known as the Big 18, an umbrella group of lawyers and activists in Ghana, has also criticized the bill. Quote, "You cannot criminalize a person's identity, and that's what's wrong, and that's what the bill is doing, and it's absolutely wrong," end quote, said, I'm about to mess this name up, Takawai Manu, a member of the coalition. Quote, "We want to impress on the president not to assent to the bill. It totally violates the human rights of the LGBT community," end quote, Manu told AFP. Okay. Opposition lawmakers say Sam George, Lord have mercy, Sam George, the main sponsor of the bill, called on Akufo-Addo to assent to it. Quote, "There is nothing that deals with LGBTQ better than this bill that has been passed by Parliament. We expect the president to walk his talk and be a man of his word," end quote, George said. "There is nothing that deals with LGBTQ better than this bill." So basically the only way to combat the backlash of queer expression is to literally indoctrinate it or combat it with fear, which is going to bring violence. Members of the Ghana's LGBTQ community are worried about the implications of the bill. Alex Kofi Donkour, the founder and director of the organization LGBTQ Plus Rights Ghana, said, quote, "The passing of this bill will further marginalize and endanger LGBTQ individuals in Ghana." Quote, "It not only legalizes discrimination, but also fosters an environment of fear and persecution," end quote, he said. Quote, with harsh penalties for both LGBTQ individuals and activists. Right? This bill threatens the safety and well-being of an already vulnerable community, end quote. And again, it mentions this again. About 30 African countries currently ban homosexuality according to the International Lesbian, Gay, Bisexual, Trans, and Intersex Association. Uganda, this other place, Mauritania, Lord, and several northern Nigerian states punish same-sex relations extremely harshly, with those accused possibly facing the death penalty. South Africa is the only nation in the continent to allow gay marriage, which is legalized in 2006. Wait a minute. So we read all this. Listen, South Africa is the only nation on the continent to allow gay marriage, which it legalized in 2006. Meanwhile, it took us in the mid of 2012, so for there to be a recognition of homosexuality or the or same-sex marriage in America. So it's funny to me how we're gonna get into that. We got a little bit more to read. Gay sex has been decriminalized in only a handful of countries: Cape Verde, Gabon, Guinea. I'm messing all these names up. Basure, Lesotho, Mozambique, and Seychelles, according to the ILGA. Okay. Let me see if I can change the music for this, because I don't want this music. I need something with a little bit more to it. See if I can find it. Where's it at? Is it this one? That's not it. That's not it. Give me 1 second. I'm trying to find it. Here it is. Let me take a sip of water real quick, because I'm about to go there.
You live in a different world.
Cut this down, son. And shout out to the 2 people who are watching. I hope you make yourselves known. Y'all also gonna hear this lighter. Before I get into letting the fuck off, and I'm gonna call names, I want to speak to the queer community first, because there's really not much to be said. Okay? To my queer brothers and sisters, and everybody in between, who simply are just trying to live your best life. You ain't trying to start no shit, so there won't be any. You treat everybody else with respect. Because a lot of us have been demonized and ostracized, some of us who survived that situation, who did not become bitter but actually learned to love themselves and heal from the situation, who simply just trying to attract a partner that they can also share the slice of the American pie with. Because even though they won't recognize your identity, they'll definitely recognize your motherfucking money, though. That part. And y'all forgive the background noise. And here in Detroit at 1 o'clock, they play these sirens, girl. I don't know if we preparing for the purge, bitch, but whatever. Individuals who simply just want to be able to have the ability to have a family as well, because queer people grew up in families, and like myself, grew up in a healthy household where my parents are still together and have shown love. And even though both of their children are from the queer experience, still understand what unconditional love really motherfucking means. So because they have that love, they want to be able to duplicate that love for the individuals that want to make sure that the system or the government also acknowledges their union. So God forbid, if somebody fucking dies, my partner has the ability to be the one to make all the big decisions for me. I mean, hell, I married this person. And the fact that we all have to suffer because a bunch of ignorant ass motherfuckers who are subscribing to fear through the eyes of religion, and they struggling in their own goddamn faith, have the luxury to be able to sit up here and continue to believe that, oh, y'all gonna do this shit to my kids. And then fail to prove the overwhelming amount of evidence. Yeah, you live in a different world. A world of fear and ignorance. Queer people, this is the only thing I'm gonna say to you. Matter of fact, hold on, let me go grab it real quick. 1 second. All right, I'm back. Queer people, there's only one thing that I gotta motherfucking say, bitch. Protect yourself. I don't give a damn what your pastor said. I don't give a damn what your old ass 10 minutes older than dirt grandmama said. That bitch on the way to heaven, girl. You ain't gotta worry about this shit, so you just go ahead and go to glory. It don't matter what your ignorant ass pastor said. It don't matter what no goddamn dirty dick ass, doodle street ass, Hebrew Israelite motherfucking Pan-African nigga said. With dirt underneath his motherfucking fingernails. I don't give a damn. God, source, universe, consciousness, whatever you want to call it, has allowed you to come into this experience and to fucking be. Whatever that be is, to be. And when it's time for you to draw your last breath, you gonna be there by your damn self. So if you came in this world by yourself and you're gonna leave this world by yourself, you have everything that you need. Now you live in a world of want. And I know that a lot of us are tired of confrontation. A lot of us are tired of having to go out into the world and wake up every day knowing the world we live in, and to go out in the world and just hope and pray it's not me today. And me as a black, same gender loving, queer, gay, dick in a booty ass nigga, whatever you want to say, even though I have more of a masculine appearance, even though I say gay, a girl, and all that other type of shit, and more so of a masculine energy, I'm learning to embrace my feminine energy. I have privilege. I can go in a barbershop and code switch and be safe. But a lot of people don't have that privilege. And as much as I hate confrontation, bitch, when it comes down to my life, when it comes down to my self-defense, I will be completely offensive in it, because I grew up being bullied. I grew up having motherfuckers jump me and sneak me and all that shit. And it damn near costed me my life because I turned all that pain inward. Now, as an adult, and keyword self-defense. I'm not talking about queer people going out and looking for straight people and start shooting them, but that would be a very interesting narrative now, would it? If the fags were in the car, driving around, busting shots at niggas. The queer people, you need to find a way to protect yourself. That when there's a will, there is a way. Study self-defense on YouTube. Look at pressure points on where to hit a motherfucker. And don't just hit them one time, girl. Lose your mind. Because I just read at the end of that fucking article how South Africa was the first to legalize same-sex marriage in 2006. I didn't even know that. But meanwhile, homosexuality is something that's propagated from the West. Bitch, kiss my whole ass. Do you not see? Do you understand what it means when you're ignorant as fuck? Do you understand what it means? Well, you don't because you're ignorant. What's up, boy crazy? Queer people, it's time for us to work out our bullshit. It's time for us to come together in solidarity. And it's time for us to learn while we're in solidarity. Not in solidarity because, oh my God, it's the last resort. But no, bitch, if we was actually connected, some of these things probably wouldn't be fucking happening. Because this year for America is about to get real motherfucking heated. That's why it's important to pay attention to history. People don't want you to look at history because, oh my God, we've been back there and all that stuff and we'll do it. But it's so interesting how history repeats itself because we don't fucking learn. But I'm learning. This is the age of information. This is the age of awareness, baby. A lot of motherfuckers that had power in this falsified world, oh, y'all niggas gagging. That's what it is. Y'all are gagging. You're gagging. Because that means accountability and karma is on your ass, girl. Yeah, you may have jumped from different timelines and all type of shit and try to put things in plain sight, hidden in plain sight, so that technically it wasn't me. It was, they played into it. Yeah, but bitch, that was your idea, ho. And that idea always originates back to the source, and it never escapes source. Which means that even if you make your bed in heaven or hell for you religious hoes, girl, no matter where you are, it's going to find you. So, to queer people, girl, hold on. Girl, if you have a good enough, clean record, get you a firearm. Go to the range and learn how to use that motherfucker. If you can't get a firearm as far as a concealed weapon to get a CCW or CPL or whatever it's called in the state you live in, if you live in an open carry state, girl, get you a motherfucking sawed-off shotgun. Get you a gun. Get you something. If you can't access a weapon, girl, get you a motherfucking knife. They sell knives at the damn gas stations. They sell knives on Temu. Go into Dollar General, Dollar Tree, and get you a cheap butcher knife so at least when you stab a motherfucker for fucking with you, it'll break off in them. And I even hate talking like this because, again, as a queer person growing up, I knew what it was like to avoid conflict, and yet conflict always had a way of finding you. I wasn't doing shit. Meanwhile, niggas is stalking me, waiting for me. Which I'm also understanding that it's probably some sexual repression because a lot of individuals that bully me, guess what? They gay now, bitch. They gay now, bitch. Huh. So, queer people, I'm done talking to y'all. The rest of this live is dedicated to ignorant, queerphobic people. And if you feel convicted in your spirit by anything that I say going forward, you might be the queerphobe I'm talking about. I don't know who the fuck I'm talking to. But I know I'm talking to you. And whoever that you is, y'all will know who y'all are. But I am going to also drop a few names. For you homophobic people, I want you to understand that you are going to manifest your greatest fears, and y'all don't even know what the fuck that shit look like. Because y'all so blinded. Y'all love to hide behind religion. Y'all love to hide behind unconfirmed conspiracy theories that y'all can't even prove. And then when it's time to have conversations with queer people, whenever y'all feel like it, y'all like to start off these conversations acknowledging humanity in reference to, oh, well, you know, well, I'm not perfect. And but y'all wasn't saying this when the queer people were out of the room, or you thought they were out of the room. And then continue to ask people, how the fuck do you benefit from it? Well, when if you actually paid attention to queer history, you would see how you benefited from it. And even when we bring established credible timelines to show you our involvement in the advancement. You know what? Let me go ahead and be pretty specific, because even the stuff over in Ghana is dealing with African. So this is dealing with black people. Let me just go ahead and say that. For you black motherfuckers, that's who I'm talking to. BMU Network. Lance Scurv. Mr. Information Man. Chaotic Truth. Sonnetter Studios. The Red Pill Community. Lil Boosie. Charleston White lead chip eating ass. And every homophobic pastor there is, girl. I'm talking to all you motherfuckers. And I'm gonna be as colorful as the motherfucking rainbow in my commentary, baby. All of y'all finna gag. All of y'all about to be triggered the fuck up. I want y'all to understand that. You know why? Because now people are living in the one thing that y'all want to obtain but can't, which is freedom. And even though I am a black man who is same gender loving, in a system that benefits off of the ignorance, one day we gonna be with it, one day we not. One day we gonna be with it because at the end of the day, the powers that be, that's profiting off of all of us, like I fucking said before, that went over a lot of y'all motherfuckers' heads. The only thing that's profitable to them is war, because that brings the most money. And even though I'm a black man in this system that does not see it for me, I see it for me. And that's all the fuck that matters, because again, from a spiritual perspective, from a philosophical perspective, from a blending of the mental and the emotional, the masculine and the feminine energy perspective, that this is a world of energy. And whatever I say in my individual life is going to work out for me in some way, form, or fucking fashion. Which is why a lot of queer people like T.S. Madison, who has been completely open about her whole life experience, wrote a whole fucking book for you motherfuckers to read up on. Because if you're going to play the warfare game, isn't it important to know more about your enemy than your enemy knows about y'all? And we're the 1%. So if y'all failing to get proper information, proper context on the 1% and y'all the 99%, woo! No wonder Jesus ain't coming back. I'm gonna pause right there because I know some of that trigger. I know what I just said triggered some of y'all, so I'm gonna take a hit of this weed so I can trigger y'all further. Because again, if we're gonna play this game about being triggered, I'm cool with that. I'm cool with the triggering game. Are y'all cool with the triggering game? Because again, if it's equality across the board, it's cool. A lot of y'all want to act like Thanos, right? Y'all want to snap y'all fingers and decide what gets to stay and what doesn't get to stay. So if you're going to play that game, include yourself. That's all I'm saying. If you're going to play that game, make sure you're a part of it so there's a 50-50 chance that your ass be here or your ass don't. And if you're still here, you can truly, genuinely say that it was divine intervention or divine connection. Let's go down the list, shall we? And this is one thing that I also learned from a wise mystic too. Girl, again, when it comes down to, if we're gonna play the warfare game, you know, everybody's soldiers and shit, right? Warriors. If we're gonna play the warfare game, again, it's not just strength, physical, pure strength. It's also tactics, strategy as well, and also emotional intelligence, which includes morale. Okay? Again, I'm playing chess. Y'all playing checkers because y'all not properly informed. So let's go down the timeline, shall we? Because again, this is for y'all. Let's start off with Land Scurv, girl. I'm gonna give y'all the rundown. I'm gonna give y'all the rundown on everybody at this point. Because it's 2024. I'm calling everybody out. And I'm not having conversations on y'all platforms. If it's gonna be a conversation, it's gonna have to be on a neutral platform. Because once I start playing the game with y'all, like how y'all really want to play the game, and I start playing it better than y'all, I don't want to hear nothing. And I hope and pray that none of you niggas overstep the boundaries of verbal into physical. Because again, I know what the fuck I've been through in my life. And what I had to heal from. But because I healed from that, again, I'm very aggressive in my self-defense. And unfortunately, because we live in a warrior mentality where black men unfortunately seem like the only way for them to really express how they really feel is in the low vibratory state of violence and shit like that, I also want you to understand, girl, that every dog has its day. And some of you niggas will be bow wow wow yippee yo motherfucking yippee yay. That's right, baby. But let's start with Land Scurv. 4 years ago, he ended up doing a live with a content creator by the name of Conscious TV, who is the motherfucking GOAT. And that's on period, or period, PW. Excuse me. Where he did a video response to Land Scurv. And Land Scurv, I guess they got into some sort of private conversation. And it was enough to bring him onto the platform. At this time, this was back when Land Scurv was more visual. His channel was more popping, because no shade, it was a different time before the algorithms and shit fucked shit up. So he was kind of following his ebb and flow and his little niche or whatever. And he also had a big voice, and I think he still does have a big voice and is still somewhat respected in the Pan-African community. So at that time, he invited CTV onto the platform. I was also supposed to be a part of that conversation, but once they let him on and the queerphobic people popped on by the busloads, I couldn't really get a chance to speak until the absolute end, which was very irritating. But he had him on the platform, and the queerphobic people came up, and CTV was just eating all them hoes up left and right with truth. So once the intellectual aspect happened, and again, they realized that they just couldn't motherfucking get over on the motherfucking Kang. Now it was time to bring forth the aggressive aspect. There was an individual by the name of Black Lion who got up on there and started off his intro by saying, though, let me tell y'all something. I ain't with the bullshit. The shit that some of y'all favorite rappers got, I got too. Meaning that whatever weaponry he has, in case he got to go blow a punk head off, or whatever the case may be, he has that. So I guess him saying that made it seem like, oh my God, I'm going to be scared. And meanwhile, it was still no fear in CTV's motherfucking heart. And he had the entire panel triggered. And they kept saying the same things over and over again. Oh, well, two men can't come together and have children. We know that, but we still got dicks, we still got balls, and we still have semen. So we still have ways to bring life into the world. And y'all so focused on bringing the life in the world and how it's brought into the world, but once that life is affirmed as queer, y'all don't give a fuck about it. So make that make sense. So then we move forward and further. Well, science. What about science? And science, okay, well, we can also look at nature too. Nature, excuse me. What about nature? Nature. What about nature? First of all, scientists are still baffled about nature. There are still untapped and uncharted territories about nature that we as human beings have yet to learn. Meanwhile, the motherfuckers who actually go to school to be a scientist, the motherfuckers who actually understand all of the equations that's put into place that a lot of y'all will struggle with and be ready to cuss your damn child out about if it came home with them on their damn homework, whatever pamphlet, because your ass didn't pay attention in math class. Those individuals are still trying to figure nature out. So when we look at certain things that happen in nature that express what we would call, and that even those queerphobic people would call gay or queer or same sex, all of a sudden now it's attributed to, oh, well, they're out of some sort of lack of something, or, oh, they were put inside of a controlled environment. Or it could simply be the fact that nature is going to be what the fuck it's going to be, whether you want it to be or not. And just like there is a spectrum of nature, there is also a spectrum of humanity, because we are also from nature. So once we deal with all the things that can tangibly be seen and proven, now it's time to go to, quote unquote, the spiritual route. The realm of the supernatural. The realm of the unseen. The unmanifested before it manifests. And then sit up here and say, oh, well, according to the Bible, Leviticus says this. Romans says this. I think the other one is Matthews, if I'm not mistaken. Please correct me if I'm wrong. But all of these things, okay. So again, let's play the game of that. So if we're going to use Leviticus, then we all going to hell unless you follow the line, because that wasn't the only quote unquote abomination that was called for. It was a whole bunch of them. So if we're going to take the Bible literally, line upon line and precept upon precept, then we all are on a slope fall. Even when we are delivered from one thing, we're falling into something else. And if I'm not mistaken, didn't one of the individuals, one of the people in the book, as far as their own chapter or whatever, or book in the Bible, said that as far as there being a thorn in my side, which means this is something that I will never get rid of, something that I will always be dealing with, something that I will always be struggling with. And that if that thorn is removed, it's replaced with another thorn. Why? Because you're a human being, and there is always something we can be working on and bettering. And then later on in the book, when we talk about Sodom and Gomorrah, it literally spells out what the sins of Sodom were, which was inhospitality. Those were individuals who participated in what was known as one of the 7 deadly sins, known as greed. Greed. I want it all. I don't want to share. I don't want to share. And even when I share, I'm going to take that shit back. And if Sodom and Gomorrah was destroyed by homosexuality, according to y'all logic, how the fuck would the town be populated to continue to do the sins? Because according to y'all, 2 men and 2 women can't come together and procreate. So if that is factual truth, that is scientifically proven, then how did the city of Sodom and Gomorrah continue to grow? Wouldn't it have died out? Instead of God doing what God did according to the narrative, wouldn't it be better for God to just sit back and allow the shit to fucking fizzle out on its own? And then call yourselves Christians, but yet don't really even mention the walks of Christ. The conversations when it comes to judgment be more so God, God, God said, and God said, and God said, and God, 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 and God, and God, and God, God, and God, and God, and God. And you know, God said, and God said, and God said, and God, and all this other type of God said. But didn't it say in the book that the only way to the Father, the only way to God is through me, which is Christ? But see, focusing on that would mean that Christian people would actually have to be Christian. And at the same time, I really can't be mad at Christian people because Christian people have been misled by the, at large, not all, but at large, organized religion. It has indoctrinated you. It has pimped you of your gifts and your talents. And queer people know that very well. Because despite y'all using the Bible against queer people, a lot of y'all Sunday services wouldn't be popping without the fags. Some of y'all fashions would not be fashioning without the homosexuals. The atmosphere would be all shot. Y'all would be having off-key singing people, Andrew Caldwell singing people. Some of your favorite gospel artists right now who are charting and who are traveling the country are getting their makeup and their hair done by homosexuals. Background singing, homosexuals. Black people who complain about being pimped by white America just for y'all to turn around and say, well, if you can't beat them, join them. Unconsciously and subconsciously. Meanwhile, you have the biggest cathedral in the city, and yet, on the 2 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 11 o'clock, breaking news, bitch. It's murders and all type of disparaging things happening around that cathedral. And instead of the church being of charity, which means it gives to the people, it is in need of the people, it's in servitude of the people, it's now been transmuted into you give us all your shit. I don't give a fuck if your lights are off, give it to me. I don't give a damn if your kids can't eat, give it to me. I don't give a damn if they get ready to throw your shit out. This is an opportunity for you to have faith, and to amplify your faith, give me the last of your shit. So all that shit was happening on the Land Scourge show. Just for him to low-key be triggered by that conversation, because once I started doing commentary on his stuff, he got shook. Because he started doing these rooftop confessions or whatever the fuck it was at night, talking about, oh, well, I had people saying these other things, and they make you think, and they make you open up your mind, and they make you look at it that way, and but the last time I did it, because on that same panel, girl, the comment section was like, no shade, girl, some people in retrospect, no, CTV came on and cleared all y'all hoes. He cleared y'all on your own platform. And instead of that being a learning moment, Because again, I had the idea or the belief that that lie 4 years ago was going to change the trajectory within the Black Pan-African community in reference to queerness. Because again, queer people have been, in the words of T.S. Madison, Black queer people saved the Black community. The Black feminine energy saved Blackness. That's objectively factual. And now it became warfare on the queer people, to the point to where what really made me start going in on him is when I discovered that he was actually praising the Uganda bill. And was hoping that other African countries follow suit, because that's how you get rid of them fags. Put a bullet in their head and throw them in a ditch. That's what y'all want to do. And you're just waiting for the green light to do. Let's move forward.
You live in a different world.
There was another individual by the name of J-Leethal, the true definition of dirty dick trade, who, again, shout out to CTV, because baby, CTV be trailblazing and is definitely inspiring to your boy. Okay? Where he had a 10-hour conversation, a 10-hour live with J-Leethal. And everything that J-Leethal was trying to throw at him, you know them trap niggas, girl, who go to jail and try to read but can't really read, but damn it, give it a good effort and a try and shit. And they gotta end up joining a gang in the motherfucking prison so that they don't die, so they join the Hotep niggas, girl. Put on a dashiki, put on this hat, and read it. So now he's out and he's free and he feels like he's walking in his God mode, which he is, but it's a very low vibrational version of it, if you ask me. And then after that decided, okay, well, let's have a conversation on my panel. And then sat there for hours trying to argue to CTV and the queer community in reference to men having power over everything, and that the only thing that can challenge men is God, and using the one example of Christ flipping over the table out of proper context. Oh, dirty dick trade, you dirty dick ass niggas. Good thing I like ass, right? Yeah. Then we shimmy, shimmy, sham, shimmy, shay, shimmy, show, shimmy, yo, on over to the latest of my commentary within the past year or so. Black Men Unfiltered, girl. We found a hub, a space for black men to come together and to share their unadulterated, pure, masculine, red pill, big dick energy conversations. So before I was on the platform, I was in the bushes listening. What's going on? In the comments, commenting. People, for the most part, blazing over my comments, but y'all speaking about queer people and a queer person here. So it's kind of like when they come in, oh, here we go, y'all, here we go, here we go. No, y'all are the elders, y'all are the wise ones, y'all are the real gods, correct? So why not educate? Why not use this as a teachable moment that's solidified in YouTube stone and YouTube history? To show these punks the error of their ways and let it go viral, Jesus. White Jesus, let it go viral. And everything that came out of their mouths in reference to queer people is the same shit that was said on Lance Skirt 4 years ago, that low-key was the same shit that was said in the 60s and 70s when niggas had hair, when niggas' waistlines was 30 inches, and when some of these niggas could actually see their dick. So then, let me take that back. Not all of the individuals on Black Men Unfiltered. The majority of y'all, hell yeah. Hell yeah. But not all. Because you had individuals like Mandrell. Shout out to Mandrell. He doesn't know me, but I respect him. Who is an actual decent human being. Who is a man who obviously is definitely secure in his sexuality. Who can go and co-mingle with other queer people and not worry about somebody trying to slide a finger up his ass, but actually enjoy himself and have good conversations that doesn't revolve around him doing gay shit. Cause no shade, gay men have standards, and I want y'all to understand, y'all think women have standards, baby. Gay men's standards are higher than women's. At this point, I need to be with a damn woman, cause these standards be so damn high. Okay? And his beautiful, fine ass sister, ooh, she's so damn fine. If I was straight, I would want a woman just like her. Look just like her. Baby. I would be treating her right. I would be massaging her feet. I would be giving her back rubs. Baby, and I would be diving off in that. Okay? So you're having my baby, and it means so much to me. Yes, Shay, you fine. Invited, again, the GOAT. Girl, the one who really is the inspirant in reference to the level of awareness and freedom you want to attain in your own life. CTV again. Who was invited by Mandrell and Shushu. In the conversation, for the first time in any of these spaces, seemed like a very productive one. It seemed like there could be a transition. No pun intended. To where now there is a gray area of blackness and queerness as far as honoring and affirming each other. And when I mean honoring and affirming, I mean in a way that is not sexual, because we're not asking to fuck y'all. And we were able to hear more of the queer perspective. Because again, queer people, we're the 1%. So the 1% had an opportunity to really lay as much as they could out on the motherfucking floor and for it to be affirmed. But again, in the black community, especially the black Hotep Christian community, oh no. We don't do that. Yeah, we might steal, we might kill, we might thieve, we might thug the fuck out, we might sit up here and demonize women and talk about the bitches and hoes and demonize them because they suck dick the best, and we don't want to know what our wives know about it, so we want the freak hoe to get back in freak hoe territory so we can continue doing the freak hoe shit in the dark with the freak hoes. We can allow all that to happen. But this homosexual shit, oh no, pimping. No, bruh, no. So now it was time for the real gods and the real men to step up to the plate. And again, it be so cringy because y'all say y'all work on y'all mental, but y'all don't also have real, true, genuine emotional intelligence, because the way that y'all title these things, you title them in a one-ended way to kind of like prove y'all point, even though y'all fail miserably in application. That'd be the real cringy part. But the conversation was about the effeminization of black men. And they used Jonathan Major's picture, again, of course, always, unfortunately, out of proper context. Him having his lips poked out and having on this outfit that is reminiscent of an actual anime character. Because black people also love anime, and I'm one of them. I'm growing in that. okay? And had both him and Reckless Logic, shout out to both of them, shout out to them, on the panel. Two men who obviously have feminine energy and flair about themselves. On a panel with heterosexual, stoic men. And then went around the panel asking every man what their definition of a feminization is, and what do you believe is a feminization, yes or no, and elaborate. And then when the queer people come around, again, we queer, we know, some of us learned from history, some of us are aware of history. So with that, the fuck being said, yeah, we know where this is about to go. So to also add nuance to the conversation, because again, you got queer people here, so you also have to have the queer perspective. There is a gay agenda, but there are two gay agendas, and it was broken down beautifully. There is the agenda of everyday queer people who literally just want to have their slice of the American pie and live their life too with everybody else without their sexuality being a fucking issue. I can also be a good neighbor. I can also be a good this and a that. You be focused about what the fuck I'm doing in my bedroom. At this point, bitch, do you want to come in? And if you did, it would definitely be a hell no. To the no. And then there's the agenda from the system, which also affects black people, meaning that there is a profit war going on with all of this chaos and division. They want this to happen. There is this waging of this side and that side, and this side and that side. This side gets 4 to 8 years. This side gets 4 to 8 years. This side is a back and forth, and a forth and the fucking back. And the powers that be are making money off of it. The corporations don't really care about queer people. Oh, it's Pride Month. Let June 30th or 31st, whichever is the last day in that month, come. At 11:50, they telling the employees, throw this homosexual shit in the goddamn 99-cent bin and take it to the back of the goddamn store until it's time to profit again. Meanwhile, these corporations don't even give back to queer organizations publicly. Because it's being out and proud, right? So those were the two agendas. The agenda of actual queer people, again, trying to self-actualize, to heal from the shit that happened to them in the past, and to manifest their best life going forward. And then the agenda of the system, which is to create fear, confusion, and to profit off of all of that. And even though that was explained, when it came down to talking about homosexuality, then it's the gays' fault. Well, y'all always change the gears. We're trying to talk about it feminine, and y'all bring in homosexuality. Yeah, because the motherfucking picture that y'all over here, again out of context interpreting, is because the nigga look gay. Or all the rest of the commentary that y'all gave before the shit was because it was gay. The fact that y'all invited those two queer people on the panel is because one of them was on the panel prior and y'all didn't like that gay shit. So y'all were trying to be strategic. Girl, again, Christ ain't coming back for this group of people. Y'all remember the scripture during Revelation where it says there's going to be a period in time where there's going to be no Holy Spirit, no comforter? Get ready, bitch.
You live in a different world.
I had to stop for a moment because I know some of that probably triggered y'all too. Just ride it on out. You'll be all right. And then They started talking about the appearance of Jonathan Majors. Again, what makes him look gay. And of course, he brought up receipts. What about y'all, again, y'all niggas in the 60s and 70s when y'all was wearing leotard shit and tight ass bell bottoms and shit with the dick and ball print on the side. It's a whole album cover of the Isley Brothers, girl, and one of them have a damn motherfucking, what they call it? The shirt that be cut and show your stomach and stuff. It's on the tip of my damn tongue. Had one of those on. If you type in Heat Wave, Always and Forever performed on the Soul Train, look at what the fuck they were wearing. Then we got into Rick James during the 80s, where bitches was niggas with permanent hair and shit. Was wearing makeup and eyeliner and shit, cause Prince came through, baby, and everybody, Rick James wearing tall ass stiletto boots. Still in his bitch shit. And then the response to that was, oh, we let that slide because they were still singing about pussy. You can't make this up.
You live in a different world.
So no matter what queer people try to assert in reference to what we have contributed or the actual truth of queer experiences and expressions, it's completely disregarded. Even on, let's do a moonwalk real quick. Even on Land Scurv Live 4 years ago, they brought up Bayard Rustin, who has his own fucking Netflix biopic that is there for you to watch. The information is there, people. It's right there. Like, it's right there. It's easy. It's like right there. And one nigga said, oh, well, the reason why they had Bayard Rustin in is because the government was trying to infiltrate the black community, and they had to put queer people in there so that 20 to 30 years down the line, when the queer shit started happening, you know, it could derail the black community and then get all the shit. See, if some of you niggas had the same imagination when y'all was in school, y'all probably would be somewhere and do something. Maybe y'all need to write, maybe y'all need to hit up 50 Cent or Bootsy and just create y'all own dramatizations, girl. To-be movies in the making. Do it. What? And I'd be the high one. Hold on one second, let me get a sip of water. Okay, I'm back. Sorry. And then after that conversation, they had a conversation behind the scenes, backstage of StreamYard, and the conversation was completely different. And then some of the same men went to queer spaces to have conversations, to continue to share their ignorant plight about queerness and trying to find something evil about it. It's kind of like, there's something about y'all are doing something, like, I just can't put my finger on it, but y'all are like doing something. And girl, prove it. Prove it. If you feel it in your spirit, seeketh and thee shall findeth. Find it. And y'all don't even put in the energy to find it in its proper context. And then when it's time for, after y'all done brought the homosexuals up, like myself the first and second time, y'all didn't have to do these lives of damage control and it be so cringy. And then y'all use examples that literally are counterproductive to your own viewpoints. And I just be sitting here like, and what makes it sad for us as queer people is that a lot of black people think this way. Even in the Hotep community. Shout out to Neo X. who has been doing a hell of a good job giving commentary on the whole situation with Sinetta and them, because, again, Neil X spoke in truth in a way that a lot of these niggas didn't like, and then started to villainize and demonize them. Meanwhile, Neil X, she is coming through with receipt after receipt after receipt after receipt after receipt after receipt. And then when I read these two articles that I read earlier, again, if you want to read them for yourself, they're in the description box below, that over in black countries, African countries, countries from whence our, countries from where our ancestors originated from, who have people who are like colonizers coming over to their regions, to where they are, and indoctrinating them with fear that gets rid of queer people. And the faith that's being used is not even the original faith of the motherfucking people. If anything, that faith was based off of old Kemetic African spirituality. And the same terminology, the same verbiage is being used over there because it comes from here. And if the verbiage was able to do damage somewhere else with enough power of fear and intimidation and confusion, I would be a fucking ignorant to sit here and believe that it cannot happen to me in America, because it happened to me growing up. Before all of this mass awareness of queerness. Before fucking TikTok. Before MTV. Before VH1. Before all these other things that are being blamed as the indoctrination of queerness. And the reason why this game is going to be dangerous is because in this age, what you resist is going to persist. And when you operate out of fear, you end up manifesting things also for yourself, unbeknownst to you, because you're so fucking blinded, that ends up coming to bite you in the ass. Pause. And I'm going to tell you right now, as a black person, if you are not going, a black person who's same gender loving, if you cannot accept me for who I am, the totality of who I am, which is my blackness and my queerness, when shit get rough, don't ask me to help you. I'll help the ones that affirm me. I'll help the ones that see it for me. But guess what? I guess the whole narrative of Christ saying, do unto others as you want them to do unto you, is about to get really motherfucking real. Because queer people for the longest time, especially black queer people, have been sharing their plight this entire time. And it's not the fact of, oh, the information isn't out there. The information out there is in abundance. Queer people actually end up doing the work for a lot of y'all, and y'all still lazy. First of all, y'all say we're the 1%. If y'all can't get the 1%, laziness. Laziness if you can't get the 1%. The 1%? You should have everything on all of us. You should have all the things we've done. You should have video evidence. You should have it all. But y'all don't. And the only argument y'all use is the children, the children, the children, the children. Well, let me tell you something. And this is not me saying this. This is just how the universe works. Again, what you resist will persist. If you are a queer-phobic person and you have children, be careful, because your children might become queer. Because God, source, universe, consciousness works in what is known as mysterious ways, which means ways that your ass ain't known of, but you can know. And queer people, we need to keep our motherfucking head up high, because factually speaking, black queerness saved the black community. black women saved the black community. And it's a lot of niggas who unfortunately are slow to play catch up when it comes to affirmation and affirming themselves and rising in their divine masculine and divine feminine. Once heterosexual people stop making shit that's not really gay, like emotional awareness and intelligence, and stop trying to add two dicks to it, until you do that, the black community, if led by these individuals, will lead us off a fucking cliff, because these people can't even lead their fucking selves. But that's just my take on it. 2024 is going to be a very interesting year. Not just for queerness, but for blackness too. See, and last, before I land my plane, thank you for riding Delta. This ain't Spirit, this Delta, baby. If we look again in history during the 60s and 70s, when there was all this liberation and awareness going on, again, even the co-founders of the original founders, shall I say, of the Black Panther Party understood humanity enough, more so than these fake ass black people who care about blackness. Black liberation was at an all-time high. Queer liberation was on the rise. Women's liberation was on the rise. Regardless of the different experiences in our own lives, we all understood at the root level that there was a form of discrimination being placed against us that was not genuine, that was not true, that was not factual, and that was created to destroy us. And we started coming together, working through our bullshit, and was able to collectively look and see at the individuals who are actually the ones who don't give a fuck about us, who see us as product. Because again, slaves in America were not human beings. They were product. They were property. And now that same blueprint has been placed on all American people. And unfortunately, if we continue down this road, we're going to really see what that manifestation looks like. But even in that time with the 60s and 70s, again, us coming into mass awareness and growth, the 80s came and fucked all that up. Again, for the black community, crack came in and actually destroyed families, actually removed fathers from the homes to where the mothers, unfortunately, out of survival, had to rely on the fucking system. And they wouldn't have to rely on the fucking system so much if your bitch grown nigga ass was able to actually heal from your shit and show up as the man that you desperately try so hard to portray that you are. Nigga. AIDS came through and decimated the queer community to where people were dropping like flies. In a matter of weeks. And women were told, shut the hell up. You don't have testicles like me. So get in there and make that damn sandwich, and that food better be hot and ready. And once I get out the shower and after you got done slaving and doing all the other shit like preparing food for me and the family, watching these kids and trying to wash clothes and trying to do other chores and trying to make sure everything good and trying to make sure your pussy clean so that when your nigga come through, he can come through and do what he not really gonna do, but you gonna allow him to do. To do that. And now we're right back in this area again. We're right here. And the black community at large is pretty fucked up. The queer community at large is pretty fucked up. The women's community at large is pretty fucked up because we're fighting amongst ourselves and fighting the intersections within the self. But we are rising. And what you won't do, another generation will. Just like if we continue down this road ignorantly and through the lens of fear, murky ass lens of fear, that will cause us all understanding what it's like to be a homosexual fag, to understand what it's like to be a nigga, to understand what it's like to be a disenfranchised person energetically. We're going down that road. I want y'all to understand that, which is why people like myself are here to help dilute the fear so we can get to the actual root. But that's okay, because these future generations, I'm grateful, are not like a lot of us. I'm glad they are starting to become more aware than us, starting to become better than us, to grow farther than us, to go farther than us, to manifest more than us, to have the actual hope and the dream of the slave actually fucking manifest, nigga. Yeah, it's actually fucking happening, whether you want to or not. Now, maybe y'all in the 60s and 70s saw what the fuck the 80s did, so maybe y'all lost hope. And if you did, it's okay to admit that. But as we can see, the fire is never snuffed out, because if that was the case during slavery, when shit was really brutal and very medieval up in this bitch, we would still be there. But in the words of Paul Mooney, black people escaping slavery was not a part of the plan. That wasn't part of the plan. Self-actualization wasn't part of the plan, baby. But they didn't understand the group of people that they was fucking with. Because at the end of the day, we are what they call indigenous people who understood the land, who understood the laws, who understood spirituality. Just like Native Americans understand and honor queer experiences and honor them as two-spirited people and saw them as the sages, saw them as the priests and priestesses, because they were actually in touch with something that a lot of people were not in touch with. Even in ancient African history, Egyptian history, queerness has also been revered as well, as being seen as individuals who are already in between two worlds, who can traverse and bring forth information and relay information in the spiritual realm. And really, in closing this time, at the human level of it all, humanity is at a place where, or a crossroads where, we have options. We can choose to descend deeper into darkness, which is also part of the process as well, because if we have to go to hell in order to experience heaven, then by all means, but it's going to be hell for everybody. Or we could actually do like the real fucking work and like face the actual fucking fear together, collectively, communally, to bring forth the neighbor in neighborhood again. To be able to deal with old ass, outdated ideas and ideologies that no longer serve us, because even when we look at nature, everything has a beginning and a fucking end. Maybe it's the time for us to actually self-actualize, which means that we don't need affirmations from others. I heard or saw an Instagram clip yesterday where individuals said in reference to reparations for black people, until we declare ourselves a sovereign land or a sovereign nation, until that happens, we will never ever be able to receive reparations, because unfortunately, that is the rules put in place. And we so fucking disenfranchised, it seemed like we will never get to that point. Let it be told by some people. But as long as I have breath in my body, as long as blood is pumping through my veins, and as long as this motherfucking sativa, indica, or hybrid motherfucking weed, marijuana, edible, whatever the case may be, is flowing through my veins, I'm gonna do my part to help bring forth the manifestation of true, genuine, unconditional love in the operation and project of love on this planet. Because at the end of the day, I know this. Others don't know this yet, but they have an opportunity to. It's at the end of the day, love is all that there ever is. And love is available for you right now at this very moment. But in order for you to receive it, you also have to put in the work to see it. Because you're the one that blinded yourself from the love. Now you have to remove the blinders in order to fully see. So, queer people, make sure y'all continue to affirm yourself in the mirror. Remind yourself every day when you wake up and every night before you go to bed how blessed you are, how God has already affirmed you to have your experience. When you look down at your fingerprint, ain't no other human being on this planet that has the exact same fingerprint as you. So you've already been granted access. Be yourself, especially if you're not hurting yourself or anyone else. At the same time, rack up. There is nothing that is preventing any one of us as queer people or stopping any one of us as queer people from being a victim of a hate crime. It is possible. And this presidential candidacy or whatever the fuck going on, this whole illusion of, oh, you have free will when you don't have free will. Queerness is going to be on the ballot. Transness is going to be on the ballot. Queer children's futures are going to be on the ballot. And if the worst case scenario manifests, you can be scared, but you can also be the fuck prepared. Because if I am going to be put in a situation where the unfortunate reality or the sudden reality of me choosing my life over somebody else's, choose you. And baby, if you put in those situations and you have the power and the capacity and the awareness and the knowledge and the John Wick moves, girl, to fuck a bitch up who fucking with you, who messing with you, who followed you around, who stalked you, who tried to get at you, make sure that the headline reads completely different. So that motherfuckers also understand, girl, that a change is happening. And if you don't want to embrace that change, bitch, don't come fuck with me. And for the queerphobic people, I'm praying for y'all. I'm praying that God, source, universe, consciousness heals whatever bullshit that's going on in y'all lives in reference to queerness. And if you happen to be blessed with a queer child, I'm gonna definitely pray for you, because that's God's way, working in mysterious ways, laughing at your ass. Ha ha ha, nigga. Prove it. And that BubzDaGawd will always and forever have the smoke. And whatever you interpret the smoke to be, that's on you. Because I know what it is. And if you've listened to this entire commentary and the only thing that sticks with you is about me bringing the smoke, and that's the last thing I said, you literally proved my point. Which is why when I was on BMU's panel twice, I started off with saying that I was nervous because I unfortunately know how these conversations are going to go, but hell, I still have hope. Hey, I have hope that I'm here to actually have a conversation and not debate to get views, because on some people's platforms, you only get real hot views when you're talking about queer people or bashing women. But when it comes down to y'all own personal shit and what y'all really think about certain things, don't nobody give a fuck. Because when it's bashing time, it's bashing time. But I was there to have the actual conversations. I actually have my notes on standby because if you actually follow me on social media, before I went on the platform, I was asking queer people in my comment section, or those who follow me, what are your thoughts? Do you have any questions? I reached out to other people. Do you have questions? I'm going to be on this panel. So I was overly prepared, if you ask me, because if I knew it was going to be a Laugh-A-Palooza pre-trial, I would have prepared for that, which would have been easy. I would have made sure I had 11 million thousand blunts rolled, and I would have been smoking them bitches and reading and saying, okay, who's next? And then I ended my intro with saying, for those who are worthy of it, and for those who want it, I have the smoke for them. And baby, that was the only thing these individuals harped on, bookmarked in their mind, noted in their mind. Not the fact that I was a human being who also was vulnerable enough to admit how nervous I was, because I don't like conflict. But if we got to go through this shit to have a fucking conversation, bitch, okay, let's do it then. If we're going to have a conversation for real. But that went out the door, because to them, I'm an enemy. I speak the buzzwords that have been turned into buzzwords to incite. Oh, there it is. Oh my God, there it is. It's time to fight. It's time. Oh Lord, so we're here now. We're here. I don't know what more I can say. At this point, people want the information or they don't, and if they don't, that's cool. But you don't get to be misinformed and then get to create a narrative about queer people's experiences. That's what the fuck you don't do. And if that is the case, in the words of Nicki Minaj, girl, we'll all play the reindeer games, bitch. Hold on, let me pause the mute so y'all can hear me. One second, let me pause it. Just so y'all can hear crystal clear. My apologies, I got kicked out the studio for a second. We'll all play the reindeer games. We'll all start going into the darkness of the closet. Okay? Because not only are motherfuckers afraid of the dark, they're afraid of what's in the dark. And what's in the dark is whatever the fuck you want it to be. So if we're going to play this game, baby, let the games begin. Because like I fucking said, regardless of wherever we go on the board, whether it's the route of peace and reconciliation and community, I'm definitely cool with that. That's my first choice. And that's the only choice really that I really want to give my energy to, because that's the most productive choice. That is a choice that benefits not just the individual, but it benefits individuals, the people outside as well. If I love myself, if I do the right thing, if I show that I care, if I show that I'm sorry, and then I walk that out with action consistently, and whatever the consequences are, I'm able to bear them bitches, because it comes with the territory. Hello. That if we continue to do that, that eventually we will get to a place of peace. Or we can continue with the path that we've always been going down, which is the path of destruction, the path of war, which it would be the unfavorable thing for all of us, not just queer people, for all of us. And that route would actually be playing into the hands of the system, which again is profiting off of us. We all are cattle. We all are sheep. We all are objects that are used to be made money off of, girl. People go to work and work a 9 to 5 just to take the same money they work for and put it in the goddamn system, girl, and buy things from the system. Everything is marginal. Everything is marketable, marketed now. Everything has some sort of attachment to it. Pharmaceutical company and your health is compromised. Religion is compromised. Entertainment is compromised. All these things are compromised. And us fighting each other, us going back and forth with each other and reading each other and giving the smoke to each other, all of that without it being need, because again, in the realm of self-defense is different. But in the realm of hate and fear and projecting that out, we keep ourselves occupied while the powers that be play on us. And I'm letting you know this now. There is going to come a time very soon where the motherfucking sheet, the thin veil between this reality and this natural life, as well as the supernatural life, is going to be pulled, and y'all are going to gag at it. Some of y'all are going to lose your fucking minds because of how out of control shit finna be. Didn't our government just admit to us that there's fucking aliens? To where there's so much fucking information, you don't know what to believe. Well, you gotta walk it out. And study to show thyself approved. And a lot of us are not doing that. And by going down this route, we actually play a part in destroying the generations to come. Because they're gonna have to pay for the bullshit that a lot of us, through fear and ignorance, are doing. And BubzDaGawd gonna be here to cuss some of y'all the fuck out. Because at this point, trying to be nice, trying to be diplomatic, trying to be politically correct, still wasn't good enough for you. So let's go ahead and get to the raw diggity dog. Okay? Let's take the bullshit off. Let's unhitch the bra on the back. Let's unbutton the pants, girl, to let the stomach and the fupa breathe out a little bit. Let's roll this good weed up. And let's sit and have all types of conversations. Because I aspire to have a family of my damn own. And I'm going to let you know right now, I'm going to talk to my kids about all the queer phobia and shit, and I'm going to make sure their ass is prepared so that when your queer phobic children try my children will commence to doing a whole Mortal Kombat combo on your child. My child will commence to grabbing your child's head and turning that motherfucker into a drum set. I'd rather have my children be judged by a jury of 12 than be carried out by 6. All because you decided to teach your ignorant ass kids some ignorant shit about queer people. I'm out.
Love never dies, just choose to be born.